this year I have decided that I want to do more to document the things that I make, whether it's knitting, crocheting, jewellery making, or whatever else I've made, because while I do take pictures and sort of have a record, as it were, on Instagram and Facebook, I don't have something that I can sort of flip back through properly to see just the things that I've made or things that I'm making. So this year I'm starting a crafting diary. So far I've not got a lot in here because obviously we're not very far into the year, but basically what I've done is written down some notes, and I'm sticking a piece of yarn in as an example of the yarn that I've used, and I am going to print out photographs of the finished things and put them in here, but I'm going to wait until I've got enough to fill a page, so I'm not wasting paper and ink and things with printing, just a couple at a time. But I also wanted to document all the socks that I've made over the last few years, so I call this my odd sock collection. I think the very first sock that I made for myself was this one. There were issues with it, there were things that didn't go very well. I went off a pattern that I found on, I think it was on YouTube, like a walkthrough tutorial type thing, and I based my pattern off that, and I keep everything in an Excel spreadsheet so I can be consistent, especially if I'm making things for other people, either as gifts, so the things they have match, but also so if I'm selling things, that the person that's getting it is getting something that is of a decent quality and not just something I've sort of chucked together. So these are all the socks I could find. I've probably got another couple somewhere, either in the wash or hiding down the back of a drawer or something. Some of them are not very good, but the yarns in these are absolutely gorgeous. They're all indie dyed yarns, so the yarns themselves can be a bit expensive, but they are worth it for what they are. These two socks are actually the same because this one has been washed several times and with things that aren't fast with dye. I don't separate clothes out for different colours because I have very few light coloured clothing. Most of what I wear is black or red or purple, so that's why it's slightly pinky on there. This one is a fresh sock made with the same yarn. It's not been worn or washed yet. Well, it has been worn just to take a photo about 5 minutes ago, but I've not worn it in earnest yet. And I call it my odd sock collection because, as you might be able to tell, none of them match, because I am of the philosophy of you can't waste your mornings trying to find socks that match when you can just find two that are the same shape / size and go with it. So I just make one of each colour or one of each type of yarn as I go. Also, because of second sock syndrome, I think it's called, or second sleeve syndrome, or second leg syndrome, I suppose, if you're making something with legs on it. Happens to a lot of knitters and crocheters. You finish one thing and then you've got the daunting task of making another one exactly the same. So I've combated that by only making one of each colour whenever I make them. I do have another sock on the way. This one here, this yarn is absolutely gorgeous, and I can't wait to see what the sock looks like when it's finished. I mean, look at that. So this one I'm working on at the moment. I might finish it all in one go, or I might start another project in the middle of making it. I don't know. I do tend to do that quite a lot, as seems to be common with a lot of people who make things like me. With the diary, I have, as I've mentioned before, I have got a few things in here, but I'm not sure whether I want the date to be the date I've started making something or the date I finished it. I might make a note of whether it's the day I finished it or started it, depending on how things go, because I have started this sock today, but I know I'm not going to finish this one today, so I don't know whether I put today's date or the day I finish it. But I'll decide when the time comes. I'll probably change my formula a little bit as time goes on, but we shall see. So you can get a better idea of what the socks actually look like rather than being flat on a table. Here they are on my feet, in no particular order.